Hey everyone, it's Rod with Power Group. Welcome back on The Pursuit of Wealth. Happy Friday. It is September 23rd. Going to get started with today's live stream momentarily. Good to be back. Was on vacation, visiting family in Prince Edward Island. Now I'm back in my regular setup here in Edmonton, Alberta. Just give it another 20 seconds or so and we'll get started with today's live stream. All right, I see we have some people joining the stream. Welcome, welcome. Smash the like, help support me in the channel. Doesn't cost you anything. Let us know where you're tuning in from as well. It's Rod with Power Group. Welcome back on The Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, and interviews, and personal finance, and much more. Going to get started with today's live stream. Again, just getting back from vacation, out of vacation mode back into the routine. And for those in the Power Group private community, going to start the live streams before market close next week. Probably on Monday, if not on Tuesday. So looking forward to getting back into the regular routine and going to discuss the broader market today. Wanted to come on, do a quick video. It's been a while since we checked in. Welcome back. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Really appreciate it, everybody joining the live stream. Welcome, welcome. And going to get started, I want to share my thoughts and opinions on the state of the market at the moment, whether or not we're going to expect more pain in the broader market, specifically in the S&P 500. And the .com fractal has been playing out to perfection. And this has been something that I've been calling out for a while now. And we're going to take a look at some charts and we'll go over, like I said, just a broader market overview. If anybody does have any questions or any ticker requests, we'll get to that at the end as well. But if you are tuning in, I'm going to go through my thoughts and opinions on the state of the market, my game plan, and then at the end, we'll save time for Q&A. So if this video does go a little bit longer, just know that the first 15 to 20 minutes will probably just be my thoughts and opinions on the state of the market, and then it'll be Q&A at the end. But share the video with anybody that might find value as well. But with that, let's get right into it. All right, so taking a look, I'll just bring up the actual Power Group YouTube channel. So a lot of posting that I was doing. If you don't already subscribe to the channel, subscribe. This is how I communicate with the community as well. Also, as you know, my channel is shadow banned a lot because of the fact that MJ stocks are primarily the focus on this channel. So the fact that it's still illegal in the US and YouTube is based out of the US, it doesn't always like what I post. So if you subscribe, tick the bell, you'll be notified on any future videos or when I go live. But essentially, I stopped posting on all of the social media platforms like YouTube because they censor a lot of things, and I've gotten my account flagged multiple times, suspended. TikTok, I got a warning as well. So this is where I post all of my raw content, where I give product reviews, all these different examples of pricing and things like that. You can't really do all of this stuff on Facebook. So this is the most raw form that you're going to get. And again, we focus primarily on MJ stocks on this channel. But I did want to go through and just highlight a couple of things. So if everybody recalls, this was from 2 weeks ago, and I posted this, and it was actually from a long time ago. It was from August 16th. I said, SPY's hitting 430, not too late to take an SPXS hedge position. That's an inverse ETF hedge against the S&P 500. So if SPY goes down 1%, SPXS should, in theory, go up 3%. That was when SPY was at 430. What are we at today? Today we hit a low of 363. So when at 430, I basically called the exact top, and I don't have a crystal ball. That's not going to happen all the time, but it's now down 15% on SPY since that call out. SPXS, if we take a look at the bottom here, we'll just go into the daily time frame here. So again, right on August 16th, and now up 61%. So that call out starting to age pretty well. And again, not that I have a crystal ball, it's just I said now's the time to be skeptical. Now isn't the time to get complacent in the market, and that's exactly what happened. We needed to be skeptical in the market. We were in a monthly, weekly, and daily downtrend, first monthly downtrend since the 2008 financial crisis. When you're in a downtrend on the monthly, weekly, and daily time frame, that's called a bear market. And this is what happens in a bear market. You have these huge, huge, fast drops. And that was a huge, huge trade that you could have potentially took in order to hedge those long positions. And bear with me, everybody. I'm still getting over the flu. I got the flu the first day I got back to PEI to visit my family. Was bedridden for about 3 days. So that derailed a lot of my vacation plans, but still trying to get through it. Definitely not back to 100% yet. But yeah, vacation mode. Did a lot of golfing while I was out. Tried some products. Finally tried the Little Victory Peach. I give that one an 8.5 out of 10. That was fantastic. And the hash bats here Only thing, this is from Good Supply, so Tilray for you. But the only thing is it was packaged on January 31st. So that was something that really struck me by surprise. Definitely a little concerned by that, but definitely potency goes down a lot, right, whenever that stuff happens. But before we jump into the market, I'll just give an update. I took a picture while I was in PEI. This is the first ever property I bought here on the right. It was a duplex, and then this is in Prince Edward Island. And then this is my second ever property that I purchased. Actually, this property over doubled in value in about 7 years. And I sold them both about 2 and 1 year ago. This is how I made a lot of the wealth that I have accumulated to date. And that was through real estate, right? And this one almost doubled. I sold this one first, and then I sold this one second. And I was glad that I did hold off because the market kept going up, and that was the benefit of having 2 properties, right? Even if you didn't time the exact top, just like in the stocks, and we're not going to time the exact bottom, the exact top, but as long as you're scaling out near the top, right? And now interest rates are going up. That's exactly what I first saw coming. And the real estate market's in pain. Even the Federal Reserve said the real estate market's going to see potentially 25 to 50% drawdown, and that's why I'm focusing on areas like Edmonton now. I have 2 condos in Edmonton, working on my third, and just started an Airbnb. And this is a market that I think is going to really bounce back. It's been in a 15-year downtrend here in Edmonton, and the condo market specifically is definitely a buyer's market. But one of my condos in Edmonton is over 5 times cheaper than this, matching 2012 levels. So the average mortgage payment using the median existing home price is right now about $2,592, so about $2,600 for the average mortgage payment. Mine is around this 436 level. My mortgage payment is about $500. Granted, I did put down 40% down payment, but I mean, we're back to 2012 levels. So again, Edmonton, not only is it extremely cheap cost of living here, but the appreciation from the asset is something that I'm focusing on big time at the moment. Finally got my Hexo hat back as well. Shout out to Pal Group member Grant for making that for me. Has Molo 5 in the front and XMG as well on the side, but Power Rod and Hexo, pretty cool. But quick update on my Airbnb. So 5 weeks into my Airbnb venture, and I've already eclipsed the $6,000 mark. Should become a super host on October 1st, well underway. And that will be the date that you can qualify anybody who is on Airbnb. That'll be a date for you as well. But I'm actually close to $7,000 now on my earnings so far in just 5 weeks into this venture. So didn't mean to go too off the rails there and get too sidetracked, but again, been away for about a week, little over almost 2 weeks now. It's been a while since I got a video out, so I did want to just give everybody an update on my situation, and let's go into the market overview. So something I've been saying for a while now. How similar is this .com fractal? If you don't know what a fractal is, it's just essentially taking a specific time period on the chart and then overlaying it, and that's what I've done. So I took the high from the low here in the .com bust fractal. So when we peaked out in the .com days in the 2000s, I took that high to the low, and then I copied that fractal, and that's what's in the blue bars here. And look how eerily similar this has been. We formed a lower high, we confirmed a monthly downtrend, we confirmed another monthly lower high, and then into a lower low. So based on this fractal, it's saying that more pain could be coming. We could potentially see a drop back all the way down to about 335, which would match the previous all-time high back before a C19 dump. So old resistance could become new support. I think that this is more than likely going to play out, and something we need to be aware of is that the market is heavily manipulated. This time around, we have trillions of dollars being injected into the market by the Fed, and that didn't happen back in the .com days. So we have to be cognizant of this, and that we could be expecting another drop down to about 330s, 335, and I was actually going to move some of my RSP, my long-term mutual funds, my retirement account. I was going to move, I'm basically 95% in money market, which is essentially a cash position. And I was going to move some of that into aggressive growth today, but I decided against it because I'm just, again, being very, very conservative, being very, very picky with my long trades at the moment. And it's my retirement account. I've had a ton of gains. S&P 500 went up, 125% in a couple of years, 120%. The average annual return for the S&P 500 is about 12%. So we got about 10 years of gains 10 years worth of gains in 2 years. So now we have to expect a massive drop because with massive bounces come massive drops, right? It's just the way the market works. What goes up must come down. And generally we get matched to the aggressiveness on the downside if we have a massive aggressive move to the upside, right? And same vice versa. So what I'm waiting for is a potential drop down to around that 350, 340, and then I'm going to start scaling out of money market back into aggressive growth. And then right now I'm basically out of my SPY short. But if we do lose 360 on SPY, I might take another position on SPXS. But again, just being very, very selective with my long positions. But if we do drop back down and test the previous all-time high, this is what Bitcoin did as well. If we take a look at Bitcoin on the monthly time frame, again, being a barometer and kind of leading the market, that's exactly what happened. We were testing the 2017 all-time high, and now we're back towards that, right? So if SPY does the exact same thing, that means that we could potentially see a backtest of the 2020 all-time high, and I think that that has a very high probability of playing out. And then I'll look to potentially move those money market into aggressive growth, and then that would be about a 22% bounce here on the S&P 500 if we do see that bounce. So again, doesn't mean that it's going to continue to follow the .com fractal to a T. Again, you have to remember that the market's manipulated. We have trillions of dollars being injected into the market from the Fed. That is something that's never really happened before. So we can't really use history as the blueprint, but it's strikingly similar how close this is, right? So again, if we do expect another drop down, it's all about 360 support on SPY. If we lose that, I'm going to be looking at about a drop to about 340, 330 on the S&P 500. Backtest the old all-time high from C19 in March 2020, just before that drop, and then confirm support, look for a monthly bounce to get back underway, and then I'll switch when we get down here into this area, this value area here. And then I'll look for about a 20% bounce on the S&P 500. Again, I'm not going to be looking to time the exact top. I'll probably scale out about 15%, right? I don't need to get greedy. Now's, the time where pigs get slaughtered, right? So if you're going to be a pig and try to be as greedy as possible when we're in a bear market and going long, you're fighting the trend. You're going counter trend. Doesn't mean you can't make money, but if you're being greedy in to the upside when we're in a monthly, weekly, and daily downtrend, you're doing it wrong, in my opinion. But again, not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. This is just my opinion and what my game plan is. But I'm going to be being very selective on the broader market, right? And we know that escalations are rising right now with regards to Russia and Ukraine and nuclear threats and things like that. There's even people in Russia trying to flee the country right now because of Putin not having enough soldiers and things like that, and going to be basically doing a form of martial law. And things could get ugly here. We could see China invade Taiwan. Again, I don't think that we're really going to see that happen for another few months. We have the midterm elections coming up here as well into November in the U.S. So again, I do think that we could see a little bit more downside and then a massive relief rally and then a full-blown bear market into the first half of 2023. And based on this fractal, we could drop as low as 235 on the S&P 500. There's a lot of macroeconomic experts that are expecting maybe even a drop below 200 on the S&P 500. And what I think is going to happen is we could see the lost decade. What happened in the .com days? We took about 750 days to bottom out, but it took 13 years before we set new all-time highs. We did break to a new all-time here in 2007, but we basically just got above it. How much did we jump above the previous all-time high? About 15%. So it took about 7 years, but then we got smacked right back down. But then how long did it take before we actually started to trend up and start new all-time highs? Well, then it took till about 2012, 2013. So it took about 12 to 13 years before we really got back above the old all-time highs from the .com days, and then really didn't look back. So if something similar plays out, and you got to think we had much more gains this time around than we did in the .com and the everything bubble compared to the .com bubble. So could we see even longer than that? What I mean by that is it could take us about 10 to 15 years before we get back up to new all-time highs again. So by that logic, if we topped in 2021, it could be 2031 before we even see new all-time highs again on the S&P 500. So again, we don't know. We don't have a crystal ball. Nothing's guaranteed. The only guarantee is there's no guarantees. But if you're prepared for all scenarios, that is all that we can do, right? That's the most important factor of it all. And realistically, we can only control what we control. The market can go up, down, or sideways. So as long as we're prepared for all scenarios, how do we prepare for all scenarios? Well, I've been saying for a while now, I have a 6-figure cash position. I'm hedging with SPXS, so short position on the S&P 500, hedging my long positions. Right now, I'm essentially only long on altcoins and MJ. right? And maybe a couple other ones, outliers, but that's pretty much my deal. And again, I've been saying for a while, look, it's strikingly similar. We peaked on the RSI in 1996, and then 4 years later, the price peaked in the dot-com days, and then we went to monthly oversold. We peaked on the RSI in 2018. 4 years later, we peaked in 2022, and now we're potentially heading to monthly oversold. So again, nothing's guaranteed, but my God, if you don't know charts and you're not looking at this, or at least tuning into, even this channel, you would have been given a massive heads up. I've been screaming from the rooftops about this for months, right? And it, again, wasn't guaranteed, but you would have benefited massively if you just took this warning, right? And it took about 750 days for the bottom to happen on this occurrence. So if we look about 750 days out, that means we could be potentially scouting a bottom. But again, remember, this time it was more aggressive to the upside, so it could be even more drawn out, right? It could be maybe 1,000 days, which would bring us out to about October 2024, right? Before we set a bottom. So again, I don't want to scare everybody. That's not the purpose of this video. It's just to me telling you how it is, telling you the truth, what I'm seeing, what my game plan is. And right now I'm being very selective with my long positions. I'm hedging my long positions, my altcoins and my MJ positions with an S&P 500 short. And it's been going great, right? And right now, essentially what I'm hoping for and what I'm expecting is a true alt season to take place. We're going to see crypto, altcoins, not really Bitcoin and Ethereum. I think those moves are kind of done. I'm not focused on, I don't own any at the moment. Completely all out of those. I sold them over a year ago in the all-time highs and the run up there into their all-time highs, and not looking back. No interest until they drop down to about 80-90%. Then now I'm focusing on altcoins. Once altcoins run, look at our XRP. XRP is my favorite crypto, my biggest holding, and it's up about 70% in the week. So if you're only focusing on MJ or one specific sector, you're missing out, right? And if you're not, hedging the S&P 500, it's been great. I've been hedging the S&P 500. I've been taking those profits from the short on the S&P 500, been buying more altcoins, and now altcoins are going up. XRP up 70% in a week. Right? And now what I'm looking for is true alt season to occur. And I'm targeting about, on XRP, for an example, maybe $7 to $11 this cycle. And then I'm going to sell probably 80 to 90% of my crypto. And then I'm going to look to rotate that into beaten down MJ. That is my plan. And once we see another major relief rally and bounce on the S&P 500, I'm going to be taking another massive short position. And I'm just going to keep doing that, rinse and repeat, right? And then once we get extended to the downside, I'll sell it, look to reload again once the S&P 500 bounces, right? So that's my game plan, and I'm sticking to it, hoping that we see that true alt season and MJ stays low, and I'll be able to rotate those profits into more beaten down MJ and short positions on the S&P 500. So that's pretty much all I have for you guys at the moment. I'll see if there's anything else I can think of. So I've been saying as well for a while now that I expected the DXY we had daily bull flags that were targeting 114, 112, and I did expect a move up to 112, 114. Today we hit a high of 113.22, so we're pretty much coming right on that. But something to be aware of is we haven't, like I've been saying, we haven't consolidated since January of 2022 on the monthly time frame. That means we're on month 9 in a row without any monthly consolidation. The monthly RSI is over 80 now, which is heavily overbought. So I do think that over the next few months, we're going to see a massive pullback in the dollar. If we take a look at our next resistance on the dollar on the monthly, we have no resistance till $120 on the dollar. So we could potentially see 120 coming into play before we top out. But again, 115 could be a top. We don't need to time the exact top as long as we're getting close, right? And the whole reason why we're looking at DXY top is because when this thing tops in the monthly and starts monthly consolidation for the first time in almost a year, stocks and crypto are going to fly to the upside, right? And that's what I'm preparing for. So just being very select, again, not trying to go too short on the S&P 500 because of the inverse correlation and how extended we are to the upside on the DXY and how overdue we are on the monthly time frame for monthly consolidation. But at this point, it's all about the weekly uptrend. I've been saying that for months now. We yet to lose the weekly uptrend. Just 1 second. Sorry, I had to cough there. Like I said, still getting over this nasty flu. It's not COVID. Did the COVID test, didn't get that, so dodged a bullet there. But to be honest, this is probably worse than COVID when I got it in January of this year. But again, weekly uptrend still intact, higher lows and higher highs, higher low and higher highs. We almost formed a lower high and a lower low here, but again, we didn't. EMA 12 as well has been rock solid support. So support, dip below it, but closed back above it. right back into a weekly bounce, right? And weekly uptrend still intact. So right now, the key support is 107.68. If we lose 107.68 on the dollar, that's going to lose the weekly uptrend from here. Or if we confirm a lower high and lower low, that would confirm a weekly downtrend, and that's going to increase the odds that we're going to see monthly consolidation. And monthly consolidation is what it's all about, the weekly uptrend and monthly consolidation. If we lose the weekly uptrend or confirm a weekly downtrend on the DXY, and it's going to increase the odds that we're going to see monthly consolidation likely occur over the next couple months. Just got an Airbnb person checking in. Got to let them in 1 second. All right, sorry about that. I just had to buzz in my new Airbnb guest for today. So yeah, lost my train of thought there, but essentially just watching for monthly consolidation because we haven't done it in 9 months, going on a year now. And once we do, we're likely going to see massive upside in the S&P 500 and stocks and crypto in general. So with that, that's pretty much my thoughts on the market. I'm not going to dive into MJ or anything like that unless people want me to, but I want to try to keep the video as short as possible today. I do also have someplace I need to be here in about 45 minutes, and yeah, we'll see if anybody we'll jump into the chat here. If anybody does have any questions, any quick tickers that you want me to look at, I can take a look at that. I'll be back into my regular routine here mostly next week, but I'll do my best to get an MJ video out soon, maybe even a crypto update video soon. But with that, we'll jump into the chat here. So yeah, lots of people saying welcome back. Appreciate it. Thanks, John. Thanks, Jamlosi. Jesse B, tuning in from Vancouver. Welcome, welcome. I was just there visiting a friend a couple months ago. Loved it. Vancouver's one of my favorite places, to be honest. I was thinking about moving there, but this didn't make any sense, right? I can buy a condo. My cost of living right now in a condo in Edmonton is like $1,000, and the cost of living in Vancouver is like $4,000. So, you know, I work from home. I can live or go wherever I want. So, you know, being only 32, I thought it just only made sense. Wait for a market correction in Vancouver, Toronto. Toronto's my runner-up. I don't like the fact how it's so busy there, and just, you know, takes hours to get anywhere. But Vancouver definitely on the next list of potential places to live after Edmonton for sure. But welcome to the live stream, Jesse. Christian says, hello, everybody. Hello, hello. For you, what is the intrinsic value of Tilray? Good question. Tilray, I think it should be somewhere around $10 to $15. Personally, USD. Right now, obviously, we're coming up on the all-time low. So we just bring up Tilray. The next support is at 243, and that is the all-time low. So, and this is USD, of course, as we're looking at the NASDAQ chart. But obviously, all MJ down an insane amount. You know, Tilray's down 99% from its all-time high. If we look at how much we're down from the February 2021 highs, just a little over a year and a half ago, we're down 96%, right? So obviously, things get extended to the downside, just like they get extended here to the upside. Then we got extended to the downside, got extended to the upside. I think the fair market value is somewhere around $10 to $15 on Tilray. But yeah, you know, we need to expect, you know, the tides to turn eventually, right? Tilray isn't going to zero. You know, MJ isn't going to cease to exist tomorrow or a month from now or a year from now or 10 years from now. MJ is going to be here. We're just waiting for this bear market to subside, right? We're waiting for crypto and tech stocks to enter their full-blown bear market, like I've been saying for almost a year now. And then I think MJ will steal the thunder, and then it'll be MJ's time to shine into 2023 and 2024. But I did add Tilray yesterday. I held off today just because I do think that we could see more weakness in the broader market, and right now we're just correlated to the broader market. We hit as low as 265, so we could get close to that 243, so I'm going to hold off. I just added yesterday, added around 280, 285, I think it was. So I'm usually adding like every 15%. So if we factor in another 15% drop from that entry, that would bring us down to about the 243, right? So that's my game plan. I'm going to add again at 243. I've got a buy order on Hexo at 15 cents. And what else did I buy? MSOS, the ETF. I also own a lot of individual MSOs as well. Curaleaf, Cresco, BAM, MedMen, to name a few. But I also own MSOS just as a diversification plan. Definitely going to look to potentially add some more USMJ. I've been holding off on adding USMJ for a while now because it was holding up a lot better, and I thought that a lot more downside could come. And then, sure enough, look at TrueLeave over the last few days, right? Or over the last few weeks, sorry. If we take a look from the high here at August 29th, we're down 36%, right? So now I'm starting to get interested in adding more USMJ. I don't own TrueLeave, only in MSOS, but I may look to take a position on TrueLeave soon. We're getting close to the March 2020 lows there of C19 at $8.10. So if we take a look at where we're at from there, only about 35% away. So starting to scale in, I'm going to look to start to scale in potentially as early as tomorrow or the next, Monday or Tuesday. But again, expecting a little bit more of a drop. On the weekly time frame, we closed right at the low of the week, not looking good whatsoever. Heading into weekly oversold territory once again. Hopefully that helps. Tilray and Hexo, how low do you think they're going, Rod? So, good question. Yeah, so Tilray, like I said, watching 243. I think we could potentially get there because, like I said, SPY is targeting the previous all-time high before the C19 dump. So that means we could drop, quite a bit more on the S&P 500, and that would mean more pain for MJ. So I've got a buy order on Hexo at 15 cents. I don't think it's going to go much lower than that. I really can't see it going below 10 cents. That'll be another area that I'll add at. Tilray, I don't see it going any much lower than 243 USD. Maybe $2, but anything's possible. Again, if the S&P 500 craters, and they're at 5-10%, we could easily see Tilray go down to that 240, maybe even as low as $2. But that would be, the absolute low that I would be anticipating. Hopefully that helps. Tilray getting trashed compared to other Canadian LPs last couple of days, showing less strength. In my opinion, the chart is mucked. Well, yeah, if you've been tuning into this channel for a while now, it was one of the first to lose the weekly uptrend, and it was also after they had that lawsuit brought against them. But we had the low, high, higher low, and higher high. So I said key support was 317. If we lost 317, we lost the weekly uptrend, and it was one of the first to do so of the Canadian LPs. And even if you just exited on that loss of the weekly uptrend, you would have saved yourself about 17% of downside, right? So this is why I've been holding off on adding Tilray, and I'm finally just starting to add a little bit more. It's now about, I'd say, 20% of my MJ portfolio. Hexo is definitely my biggest position, but if we take a look at Hexo just barely lost the weekly uptrend. It just lost it this week because we had the low, high, higher low here at 18 cents and then higher high. As long as 18 cents held, we were still in a weekly uptrend. But this week we lost it, so we just lost the weekly uptrend this week. And if we take a look at Tilray lost its weekly uptrend 3 weeks ago. So that is why, in my opinion, plus, it's not at its all-time low. Hexo is already at an all-time low. So the fact that all of MJ essentially is hitting all-time lows and new all-time lows increased the odds that Tilray was going to as well, right? Nice to see you. Hope you've been enjoying your time off. Yeah, thank you very much. It was definitely well needed, Fallon. Like I said, I've been really pedal to the metal here with Airbnb. Like I said, I've got this actually went up at another booking, so I'm close to $6,500 in 5 weeks in week 5 of my Airbnb venture. So I've been really working hard on that and trying to get to superhost status here by October 1st, which I'm like 99.9% sure that I'll meet that criteria and be a super host on October 1st. And yeah, this is how I'm dealing with the MJ bear market, right? I also own more altcoins and crypto than I do MJ dollar-wise at the moment. And I bought 2 condos this year, right? And now I'm starting an Airbnb, looking at a potential 3rd condo here in Edmonton and a 2nd Airbnb property, right? And this is how I get through. That's the whole point of Pursuit of Wealth, is spotting trends and before they happen, right? And MJ is going to be a great trend to spot before it happens, because I think it's going to be the most in the short to medium term, over the next few years, it's going to provide the most percentage-wise gains, but also trying to capitalize on other things and focus more of my energy and time on things that are going to really yield me nice ROI, right? Return on investment. MJ is just an accumulation phase right now, and again, I have more crypto than I do MJ at the moment, and been very, very busy with my Airbnb, been very, very busy with, Pow Group, the private community, been very busy with YouTube, my own stuff that I have on the go as well. And then also, just trying to live a life as well, right? So vacation was super needed after a busy summer. And I did a lot of traveling last year, so I got that out of my system after all the restrictions and everything. But planning a trip to Florida again come January. But really going to be grinding here, putting my head down and grinding into the end of the year here. But thank you very much. It was a great time off. Like I said, I got the flu the first day I got home, so a little unfortunate, but could always be worse. What do you think of Goldman Sachs year-end target for the S&P 500 at 360 points? That's kind of what I've been saying in this update. I'm not sure if you just tuned in late or not, but I've been saying for many months now that we're likely going to see the dot-com fractal play out because of all the confluences that we've been seeing, the monthly RSI, the fractal playing out to a T, and it was the closest thing that we had to this everything bubble was the dot-com bubble. And like I said, we're playing out to a T, and I think that an area that we could target is 330, the previous all-time high on the S&P 500 before C19 and March 2020 dump and lows. And based on this fractal, we could potentially see by November, December, we could see as low as 330 on the S&P 500. And that would be old resistance, old previous all-time high acting as new support. That's classical technical analysis theory. And again, it's all about 360. Goldman Sachs target on SPY at 360, we hit 362 today. So, or 363. So we basically already hit that target. So I think we could go as low as 330 potentially over the next month or two. And then we see a relief rally in maybe even a Santa Claus rally. And then, one massive push up into the first part of 2023. And then we see, the real bloodbath occur. And then we could be targeting as low as 236, 235 on the S&P 500. Like I said, a lot of macroeconomic experts expecting maybe even a drop below 200 on the S&P 500. And this is why I've been screaming from the rooftops for almost 6 months now. Make sure you're hedging your long positions, right? SPXS, short, just a regular short position. Don't recommend SPXS for the long term because it's leveraged and they use options and there's some decay that is factored into it. But if you just bought it here at the low, it's up almost 100%, right? So SPY down from its all-time high is down like 23%, almost 25%, and SPXS up about 100%, right? So that's how I'm playing the market right now. Rod, did you notice Canada record-setting MJ sales for July? Yep, I did see that. Just missed 400 million and climbing. Yep, and we could be well underway to a $2 billion run rate market in Canada over the next 3 to 5 years, right? So, and keep in mind that a lot of provinces, still, like Quebec doesn't even allow, they're just starting to allow edibles. They don't allow vapes yet. There's so much growth just to be had in Canada, right? We still don't have drinks and things like that in convenience stores. We don't have any drinks. We still have limits on the drinks. We still have the 30-gram limit on purchases at the store. We have yet to see anything put into restaurants and events and concerts and venues, things like that. There's so much growth, even just from an advertising perspective, just in Canada alone, right? Good info. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Glad you found value. Chris tuning in from California. Nice. I got to get out. I really want to go to San Diego. That's one of the next hot spots. 5,033 Hexo shares at 20 cents average. Still the new guy, just having fun. Very nice. That's a great average. Yeah, I'm over 50,000 Hexo shares now. My average isn't that great though. It's getting close to about $1 now. If I have a limit buy order set for 15 cents USD, so if that one hits, I'll probably have my average down to around $1 Canadian. Last question from me. Some of the European countries are raising their interest rates to fight inflation there. Do you think that will strengthen the euro and we might see a drop in the dollar? Yeah, absolutely. And as we know, the DXY isn't the strength of the US dollar per se, right? The buying power. If we look at the buying power of the dollar over the last, 50 years, it's been dropping significantly, right? If we look at what a Big Mac used to be like 50 cents, and now it's, like $8, right? Getting close to $10. So the buying power of the dollar is going down, but the DXY just measures the strength of the dollar compared to a basket of 6 other currencies, right? So the yen, the euro, the pound, the won, right? So the dollar is going up, the DXY's value is going up in relation to all these other currencies. And that has to do with the geopolitical events, the war in Ukraine and with Russia. Also some other tensions with China and Taiwan, right? So there's some uncertainty there, and that's why the dollar's going up. But yeah, absolutely, that would definitely bode well for the euro and things like that. And then the dollar, they might even start to ease. I think over the next interest rate decision for the FOMC, the Fed, is going to be in November. We don't have any in October, so we basically have clear skies until November. And what I think could happen is what's the .com fractal saying? It's saying expect a drop into November about the beginning part of November on the S&P 500 down to around the 330s, 340s, which would be the old all-time high test of before the C19 dump. And then we'll get the rate decision. I don't know the exact date. I think it's toward the end of November, right? And then that would mean we get that lower high, right? And we get that bounce. So what I think is going to happen is we're going to start to see inflation in the U.S. go down, and then they're going to pause the interest rates, or they're going to maybe raise it by 25 basis points or something like that, and we're going to see a massive relief rally. And then that would bring back strength into the euro and things like that, and then this lines up well, right? So I think the next interest rate decision is either going to be flat or very, very low, maybe 25 basis points. Or like I said, maybe even they don't do anything, right? And we start to see inflation come down in the U.S., and that lines up well with my thought process here and this thesis of the .com fractal, right? So that's a great point. Very great point. Opinion above or below expected earnings on Tilray. A good surprise would be nice, obviously, laughing out loud, but the higher the dollar will impact foreign earnings again. Yeah, so it's in 2 weeks on October 7th. Excuse me. Excuse me again. Tried to hit the mute button. I don't know if I did it in time. So yeah, still about 80% recovered from this flu, but man, just terrible. One of the worst flus I had in a long time. Definitely supersedes the C19 I had in January. But yeah, it seems everybody's coming down with it. But yes, October 7th, Tilray due to report earnings. To be honest, not really 100% sure. I really don't put a whole lot of weight right now on any earnings because the whole sector's in the dumps, right? We know that USMJ is taking a hit. Truly is down like 35% in the last couple of weeks. We have MSOS, the ETF, hitting new all-time lows. And, I really don't think earnings is going to, unless it's some massive beat or surprise or news drop that they mention on the call, the earnings call, I'm not putting too much weight into it, but we can take a look at the analyst estimates and see what they're forecasting. So earnings coming up, it says October 6th, but it's October 7th. So they're forecasting negative 0.086 for EPS and revenue at 201.95 million. So they're expecting an uptick compared to last quarter. They did beat last quarter, but they are expecting an uptick after about a year of downgrades on their estimates for the revenue. So yep, we know that the sales in Canada as well just hit a new record, but 400 million, like we just talked about. Who said it? Chris mentioned it. Yeah, so 400 million and climbing. So that's reassuring, right? The fact that we're starting to see record sales and things like that, record numbers, that could bode well for Tilray earnings. So I wouldn't be surprised if we had a slight beat. Not expecting much of to move the needle, really, to be honest. We need, in my opinion, what's going to be a catalyst that could shake us out of this rut that we're in is safe banking, uplisting to NASDAQ and the NYSE for USMJ. Also, just access to traditional banking. We know that a lot of these businesses in the U.S. are operating as cash businesses. It's dangerous to their employees, things like that, because they're dealing with cash, robberies, and things like that. Criminal activity has a higher chance of playing out. But not only that, uplisting, we need to see some sort of reform. Check out my video that I did with Normal, Morgan Fox, the political director at Normal. They are a company, a nonprofit that lobbies the federal government and in Washington, D.C. And he thinks there's a very good chance that we could see safe banking and potential uplisting into the end of the year. That would be the catalyst that would lift us out of this rut that we're in the whole sector. And something else as well is the Canadian government is set to review the MJ Act in Canada. So that could be another major catalyst that we could start to see laws start to ease and restrictions start to ease, and more favorable outlook on the Canadian landscape as well. So those two things I think are what we're going to be looking out for in the short term here. But those are the numbers to be watching for Tilray's earnings forecast. Again, really not honing in too much on one company's earnings because of the fact that we're in a full-fledged bear market, and it's not just Canadian, it's USMJ, it's not just operators, it's retailers, it's ETFs, it's everything, right? From seed to sale, right? So the whole vertical is getting destroyed right now, and realistically, the only thing I don't think Canadian legislation changes or reviews to the MJ Act are going to be what we need. I think it's going to be safe listing and safe banking and uplisting to the NYSE and the NASDAQ. And then potential for descheduling into the next, safe banking in the next 6 to 12 months and uplisting in the next 6 to 12 months. Then, maybe 2 to 3 years we're looking at, 1 to 2 years we're looking at, descheduling. And then maybe in the next 3 to 5 years we see full-blown federal legalization occur, right? But I think it's safe banking and uplisting is what we need. I get confidence every time I listen to you. Thanks for the great explanations, man. You're welcome. That makes it all worth it. Honestly, I'm humbled to hear that, and it definitely motivates me to keep coming on here. And even when I'm battling through a flu, nasty as this, definitely makes it all worth it. And thanks for your contributions as always. Safe banking, yeah, exactly, right. Thanks for your thoughts. Yeah, this last week has been quite the dump, absolutely. And it could get worse, right? Again, if we see the S&P 500 see another leg down, it's all about 360 on SPY. If we lose 360, I think we could be heading to 340, 330 in a hurry. And again, that would line up well. We could see Russia and Ukraine escalations continue to worsen, and then that would bring us down to about that 330, 340, and then into November. And October is generally not a great month as well for stocks. And this .com fractal is also playing out perfectly. So we have a lot of confluence, a lot of indicators and signs pointing to this is the most likely scenario, right? The more signs and indicators and signals that we have that are screaming a certain direction or a certain support level or resistance level, then the more likelihood that that's going to play out. And then, like I said, we have the FOMC interest rate decision next coming up in November. That would line up well for a bottom to be set sometime in mid to late November, and then I think they're going to ease off. I think they're going to ease off on, they're going to turn a little bit more dovish instead of hawkish. So they're going to start to ease on the interest rate hikes. And then that's what I think could propel the market higher for another massive move. And that's when I'll be looking to go long on a lot of our stocks. And specifically like my mutual funds going from money market back into aggressive growth. Again, just being very, very selective. So if we do see this drop back to, to 330, 340, that means from current levels, just on the S&P 500, we could drop, just give you the level, could drop another 10%, right? So 5 to 10% definitely in the cards. And what is the rule of thumb that I always say? If the S&P 500, on an average basis, if SPY drops 1%, each individual stocks usually drop about 3 to 4 times as much. So if SPY's down 1%, you can look at an individual stock and it should be down around 3 to 4% as much, right? So by that logic, like USMJ, for example, what did I just say? If we could drop another 10%, then that means we could drop 30 to 40% on a name like TrueLeaf, right? Because it's 3 to 4 times the amount. And that would also bring us back. What is MJ doing? They're going to their all-time lows and setting new all-time lows. So if USMJ is holding up better and it's lagging a little bit, and we have yet to test all-time lows or set new all-time lows, and the S&P 500 could drop another 10%, and if that happened, we multiply that by about 3 or 4. So if we multiply 10 by 3, let's say, keep it conservative, that's about 30% drop. And if we drop 30%, that means that we would be basically testing the all-time low on TrueLeaf, right? So could be seeing a little bit more downside. But I know people get frustrated and down and things like that when the market's going down, but you just have to look at this as an opportunity, right? This is more time to accumulate. If you don't have any more dry powder, if you don't have any cash on the sidelines, or you weren't hedging with an S&P 500 sort of position like I recommended, not financial advice, it's for entertainment purposes only, but if you didn't listen to that recommendation and you don't have any dry powder left, then maybe just get creative. What can you do to make some extra money on the side? Can you pick up a second job? Can you work on the weekends? Can you do skip the dishes or Uber and your evenings off, or on the weekend? Can you start a little side hustle or something like that, right? So whatever you can do to start accumulating these, again, not telling you buy, sell, or hold, but I'm personally focusing on altcoins. That's my biggest position dollar-wise right now. I'm going to focus on altcoins. Once we see true alt season over the next, I think, few months, we're going to see alt season maybe over the next 3 to 6 months. And then I'm going to look to sell about 80 to 90% of my crypto and rotate that into more beaten down MJ. I'm just really hoping that MJ prices stay low. I know that's not what everybody wants to hear, but I would rather MJ prices stay low, see true alt season, because like I said, I don't think MJ is going to enter a new bull market until crypto and tech enter their full-blown bear market. So again, if we see alt season and crypto go, ballistic and massive moves to the upside, then I'll look to sell 80 to 90%, and hopefully MJ stays low, or at least, moderately low, so that I can take those profits, rotate them into more beaten down MJ. And then when crypto enters its real bear market, potential multi-year bear market, we could see MJ enter a multi-year bull market. And that's what I'm going to be looking out for. All right. I think that's pretty much all I had to say. But going to end it there. Thanks everybody for your questions, your comments, your contributions to the live stream. See, we have over a dozen people still with us after all this time, about 46 minutes. So generally these live streams go about an hour long, and cut it a little short today. So feels good. And again, if you're just joining us, I'll be getting back to my regular routine next week, and I'll be doing the private PAL Group community live streams before market close, resuming Monday, if not Tuesday at the latest. Looking forward to getting back into that. And you can expect more regular updates. I'll do my best to get a few more videos out, a lot more videos out here. Generally, I get videos out every day, but with this flu and vacation, it's really derailed me a little bit here. So getting back into the swing of things. Also, my Airbnb has been very intense as well, taking a lot of my time. So not a bad thing. It's what we want, and I like being busy. And don't really consider it work. If you're having fun, if you enjoy what you do, you'll never work a day in your life, right? So going to end it there. Again, thanks everybody for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth. It's Rod with PAL Group. If you could smash the like, if you think I earned it here today, I would appreciate it. Share the video with anybody that might find value, and we'll see you on the next update. Take care. Happy Friday. Have a great weekend. See you in the next video.